we have this thing called the land acknowledgement that is read after the Pledge of Allegiance. And it's basically, I should have brought a copy with me so I could have read it to you. And you can pull it up probably if you want. But it's basically saying that we live on indigenous people's land that has been colonized, taken over those who tried to commit genocide. And it's really a very heavy-duty, kind of a condemnation, guilt-ridden statement. And I'm not saying that, we had Native Americans here, and I'm not saying that, there were wars going on, but, and all of those things is part of history. But I mean, Native Americans did kill each other too, and they weren't just peace-loving, they did scalp their
enemies.
Their enemies. So I just think there's this narrative that's being put out there.
But this is part of history. You can't change the past, right? So the people that are saying that you live on a stolen land, do they leave? Or they still stay here?
That's a good question, because I bring that up. Well, actually, I don't bring it up, but we've had immigrants come and speak at our board meetings because our president, he won't pledge the flag because he believes our nation is systemically racist. So yet he
doesn't pledge the U.S. flag?
Right. Yet he promotes, sanctuary districts and sanctuary cities to protect the immigrants from ICE raids or ICE invasions from what Trump, he says, might do to them through deportations, and that they should know their rights, which, of course they should know their rights. But what I'm saying is he makes it like it just doesn't make sense, because he's trying to protect illegal immigrants to be able to stay in our country, yet he's calling our country very evil and racist. So my question is, if you think this is such an oppressive place to live, then why do you want them to stay here?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be in their best interest to go back to their land of origin? I mean, if this is such a terrible place to live?
Where do you think this self-hatred comes from? So he's a young guy, 24 years old, and he hates America. Where do you think this comes from? From universities, colleges?
Yes, I do. Universities and colleges, yes.
But this wasn't a thing, let's say, 20 years ago, right? So something has changed. The curricula of a college changed, so they started teaching their students that you have to hate America, hate your own country where you were born, or your even 5th to 6th generation of ancestors were born.
I think it's kind of like yeast. It grows. So you probably had some that were radical in the universities, and then it just started snowballing, because if you just allow it, then it can continue and continue. And young people are idealistic, and they want to clutch on to a cause, and so, and especially something that, let's fight injustice. Let's fight for equality. And it all sounds really great, from the outside.
Who's not equal right now in America? Do you know anyone who's not equal, who doesn't have equal rights?
Well, what they do is usually bring up history.
Oh, history.
Yes,
okay.
and show how America, with segregation, with slavery, with, different ways that certain groups were treated terribly.
Facts. Horrible stuff.
Right, exactly. In the past, yes, but it's almost like they want to bring it up and pretend as though we're still that bad, and maybe punish. It's almost a retribution.
So segregation is bad, according to them, right? But if you didn't take the vax in 2020 to 2022, you have to be segregated as well. You couldn't get into a cafe or a restaurant or even to the groceries.
Very good point. In fact, I was on a state delegate for the teachers union, and when the National Educators Association has their conference every July 4th, and they move it to different places in the nation. And so I was able to go as a representative to my district. But because I didn't have the vaccination, they wouldn't allow me to go. I had to attend online at home. Talk about being treated as a second-class citizen.
Correct.